Hello, my friends, families, and colleagues. Frequent questions are directed to me asking about what is the deal with dairy, and how about living on dairy? Well, our stomachs are acidic, so they are basically geared to deal with animal products, fats, and proteins. Milk and dairy are animal products. If a young child survives perfectly on mother's milk, why would milk become problematic in a later stage? They are children, or mothers, they are breastfeeding their children more than 2 years. There are some that are breastfeeding child a year. Now, which one is correct? They are both okay. It only depends what do you replace mother's milk with. If you wean your child off the breast using meat, especially raw meat, there is not going to be absolutely any difference. The child, you don't have to wean him off. You can just give him minced meat, raw meat, eat it. Child will eat it, absolutely no difference. But if you give a child some carbs, oatmeal, the child is going to vomit and is going to have diarrhea because it's not the food for us. We are not meant to be fed with carbohydrate, with starch, with glucose. That's a plant food. So what do? We say, well, child has to be weaned slowly. Well, it doesn't have to be slowly if you give it minced meat. What do wolves do? Well, they regurgitate their food, what they ate, the animal they ate, and give it to their pups. So we don't have to do that. We have food processors. So you chop it up, and you should not really give child solid food until child has the teeth. Actually, when it starts growing the teeth, it's gumming, well, you can give it a piece of bacon, dry meat, and let him suck on it instead of putting the pacifier. This is perfectly okay. It has to be large enough so he cannot swallow it, but he can slowly melt it, gumming on it. And when it can, it will start chewing on it and start consuming it. So that's a natural process. Now, what is dairy? What is milk? Milk is plasma. It's a water with minerals that also contains fatty acids and proteins to nourish the growing organism, and also contains growth hormones to speed the process up, to accelerate growth. And of course, milk of different mammals is going to have a different potency, different strength, will have different a percentage of fat in it and hormone. Because antelope, the baby cannot stay on the floor, mother cannot carry it, cannot stay on the floor, has to get up as quickly as possible and has to be able to run to escape predators. So this is why the milk of herbivores is more potent. And if you give a child that is on the breast milk, if you give them a cow's milk, they may have diarrhea. Why? It's too fatty. So you can dilute it. And everything is fine. Why goat milk is better? Because it's less fatty. But also there are cows that produce low-fat milk, and there are cows that produce high-fat milk. Depend also how they are fed. So it will be different. But saying that we should not drink milk because milk becomes problematic for digestion, that's nonsense. All my cats love to drink milk. All my dogs love to drink milk. I love to drink milk, and I'm almost 70 years old. And I have no diarrhea with milk. I have no diarrhea with the cheese. I feel good. Why? Because my body vibrates correctly. My organs work correctly. I produce the right amount of acids and enzymes to break milk down and dairy products and meat and eggs, and I have no problem with it. Of course, I feel much heavier, and I actually can sense clearly the problems of heated stuff, of not so much milk, but cooked meat, for example. With milk, I haven't noticed that, but with meat, yes. Chicken, raw chicken, I don't like it. I don't like the smell, the taste of it. But if I have it in a smoothie, if it is broken down, it's very light and I feel great. If I bake the chicken and eat it, I feel heavy. Immediately, there's way more power needed to digest it, and it cannot really be digested. So we start forming bacteria, which we call good bacteria, or lactic bacteria. Why? Because it cannot be properly broken down, and those bacteria are which break down animal protein and fats to break it down to amino acids, fatty acids, so we can absorb it. When we eat animal products raw, when they have not been heated, and we produce correct amount of enzymes and acids, well, the acids are going to break down the protein and fat into fatty acids, nucleic acids, and we will absorb them easily. It's a no-brainer. It's just try it and you will see. Of course, you have to be on a raw animal diet for a while, or better yet, be on a fast with plasma for, let's say, 3 weeks or minimum 2 weeks, until you will notice when you are fasting, all of a sudden you start feeling light. When you are in that stage, when you feel light, you can now eat a little bit of raw meat, let's say carpaccio, with some cheese on it. Or you can have steak tartare. And you will notice that the lightness persists. You still feel light. You ate, but you feel light. As soon as you eat seared meat, just seared, you start feeling heaviness. After that meal, all of a sudden goes like, whoops, okay? More you cook it, the heavier you feel, because the digestion is not the same. Your body has to work harder. Bacteria have to be produced to help you with this process. And of course, even your excrement becomes smellier because of the bacteria that are causing the breaking of the food. We call it rotting. It's happening in your gut. Now, can we survive only on milk? Because let's say our mother continues to breastfeed us. Well, you were living and prospering on it for 2 years. Why not 3 years? Why not 4 years? Why not 5 years? Well, eventually it will be quite stupid. You're running home because your mother has to breastfeed you so you can go and finish your study and homework. It's pretty stupid, right? And on the other side, the demand for energy is going to be increasing. You are growing, you are bigger. You will need to take more. Do you need 2 mothers? So this is the problem. Why in animal world? Well, animal will breastfeed the baby until it realizes, well, baby is supposed to eat on its own, which they do. They start grazing or whatever, or start participating in eating the carcass. And mother decides, okay, it's time. I don't want to be slave to babies and keep making the milk. So she basically starts walking away, does not allow them to suck. And as they stop sucking, what is causing production of the milk? It's again body in particular vibration. What stimulates this vibration? Well, growing organism, fetus, starts stimulating the vibration that mother will have to start producing milk. It's a program. Now, when the baby is out and it's sucking, as long as the baby is sucking, the vibration continues. And mother produces the milk. And this, as long as the vibration is coming, which is the youngster pulling and sucking on a nipple, mother will be producing the milk. This is why some women produce milk for several years, some women several months, because they start giving formula to the child. As soon as you give child formula, child will start resisting mother's milk. Why? Because same like with everything else, we have been tricked. And formula contains sugar. And sugar is highly addictive. And every animal loves it. So what happens? Once when a baby tastes formula, it's going to want formula. Once you have chocolate, you're going to want chocolate. You are not going to want your veggies. You want a chocolate. So, in many cases, nurses are instructed in a hospital to put little bit baby formula on the lip of a child, of a baby, before they give it to the mother. And then we wonder, well, my baby doesn't really like mother's milk. Of course doesn't like it because it was already duped into consuming sugar. And it is going to prefer formula. My animals, they eat only meat, raw meat, and milk and eggs, all raw. And when my friend comes with their dog, they bring for him some of the dry food that they feed him with. Now they switch. They start feeding him more of the meat because they see how our animals are healthy and don't shed. They like it. So, but they would bring this food. Now, as soon as you put this food in front of my animals, they get crazy for it. Why? It's sugar. So they say, well, you see how healthy is the food? Animals love it. Yeah, they love it not because it's healthy. We love coffee. We love whiskey. It's nothing to do with health. It's acquired liking. But again, everybody loves sugar. When you first time start drinking coffee, it's so bitter, it's so disgusting that the only way you can drink it if you take a sugar and put some coffee on top of a sugar. You're actually drinking liquid sugar. And then little by little, as you start acquiring the taste for coffee, you start decreasing the amount of sugar and end up at the end drinking it with no sugar. But sugar is the real opioid here. We love it. So there's vegetarians that would, and even vegans, they come and ask, Darko, can I do protocol with my type of a diet? Well, you can, because you are poisoning yourself, so you cannot heal. Your health is going to improve. The way you feel is going to improve even when you eat incorrectly and you start taking plasma, because your body will be able to cleanse. But it only can cleanse what is in the blood. And you cannot overcome the genetic readjustment that occurs when you start eating carbohydrates and when you put yourself into glucoholic state, because this is the source of your energy now. Your body cannot produce enough energy using fat once when you're in that state. So you become dependent on it. Why? Because a bunch of mitochondria was depowered. And again, I explained this in my videos about carbohydrates and the problem they cause. So what happens is that when you're eating incorrectly, when you're eating plant food and cooked animal product, your body has to eliminate the unwanted, non-desirable elements. It needs plasma. But at the same time, you are being told to keep away from salt. And take liquid. Well, liquid is coffee, liquid is tea, Liquid is soda, wine. All of those things are toxic, and they require more plasma to eliminate. They all create diuretic effect. So they will not hydrate, they will dehydrate you. The only thing they can hydrate you is plasma, water in electroconductive state, achieved by ionizing it through minerals, mineral ions. We call them salts. And we are being told not to do it because your kidney cannot eliminate it. How come that your kidney cannot eliminate it? Just soak yourself in a bathtub, and when you have to urinate and try your urine. It's lightly salty. Then lay in a sea for about 20 minutes until you have to urinate. Taste your urine. It's extremely salty because the body is eliminating the surplus of the salt that you have absorbed. So, how can you convince me that kidneys cannot eliminate salt? Well, we never asked for any conviction because we don't think. We are trained to listen, memorize, spit on demand, and then you get a great mark, and you become a highly valued professional with diploma. What do you know about truth? Zero. And this is a zero or okay sign. It has nothing to do with any 666. Same as this is a hailing for a cab or saying hi to your friend. Has nothing to do with Nazi sign. Okay, so wake up. And everyone who thinks opposite is a schmuck. So, what to eat, how to eat. You can eat, the thing is we have to stay in ketosis. This is our natural state that we have to be in. And you will be in that state as long as you do not provide glucose through your digestive system. And no matter what you eat, even fruits, even banana, even potato, if you eat them raw, all the starch that is there is within the cells of the plant, which has a membrane, cellular membrane made out of cellulose you cannot digest. So as long as you eat your veggie crap raw, you are going to stay in ketosis, assuming that you are eating some animal product. Because if you are vegan, well, you are living on paper. No wonder vegans are frail and become sickly. And again, there is no vegan can be a raw vegan 100% because there is no energy coming. So they have to have some processed or cooked vegetable that will supply them with starch. So they can use the starch for energy. But then this energy they cannot store. So now they are dependent on energy when they eat. When they don't eat, there is no energy. Since hydration, cellular reparation, and cleansing mostly occur when we sleep, because then that's when we have more energy. Brain is not producing thoughts. Well, you don't have storage of sugar. Only glycogen, which again I explained that glycogen is booster fuel for a stress situation. So at night, you are not in any stress. So you will not have enough energy to do any maintenance. And this can cause you not to be able to sleep, because if maintenance has to be done, then body will wake you up, because you will have to eat something, some kind of carbohydrate, so your body receives some energy. You still have fat. Now, you can function relatively okay if you eat only 1 or 2 meals a day, because then you are forcing your body to have mitochondria count relatively high so it can use the fats and make enough energy from them. You are going to be skinny, but you perform okay for a certain time. Your cells on cellular level, you are going to be clabbered, you're going to be closed, you're going to become dehydrated, acidic, but this is stuff that develops over years. This is not all of a sudden. So usually vegans start feeling problems later on in life. But I know plenty young vegans, they have terrible health issues, and they refuse to eat animal products, claiming that their issues are not caused by food. It's obvious they are. And as soon as they switch diet, they go into cleanse, and after cleanse, which is uncomfortable, they start receiving the benefits of correct diet. Well, going back into milk, because this is now the question that is mostly asked, can I live only on milk? Basically, yes. Milk has everything there to support you. But it has stuff in there that you don't need and have to be eliminated. Why do some people, usually vegetarians, why do they have problem when they drink milk? They have diarrhea and sometimes even nausea. Sometimes their skin erupts. When that happens and they feel more saliva, they may have started getting runny nose, runny eyes. They say, oh, you see, milk produces mucus. This is not true. Well, it is true, and it's not true. Milk forces the body to produce mucus, but only toxic body, because this mucus is body's attempt to eliminate toxins, and body will cleanse through mucus only when the toxicity of the blood and tissue is on a higher level. If it's a basic, for example, if I drink milk, everything I want to now eliminate, which is not much that is in a milk that I have to eliminate, kidneys can handle. So I'm not going to produce any mucus. But to those who have a higher pollution in the blood and in the tissue, they do not cleanse because they are simply low on lymph, on blood plasma. So the mechanisms, the programs that control it, they say, well, the toxicity is not problematic as much as the dehydration is, so they are not going to waste more plasma to eliminate the toxin and lower the plasma more. It's not intelligence of the body, it's the robotic part of the body. Programs and calculator, programmer that decides what is more important at the moment, hydration or detox. And especially if you are a raw vegan, plants have a variety of toxins which, if they're absorbed in the blood, and some are, phenols are one of them, they are going to alert cells into protecting themselves. So they close the membranes. They poorly absorb and they do not eliminate. So those mild toxins which are in the blood, they are not really stimulating detox. Detox occurs steadily, slowly through kidney, but they are not really highly toxic that they would have diuretic effect from it, strong diuretic effect. So body is going to hold the plasma because it needs plasma, because the same vegans are also told not to have salt. They are receiving plenty through greens that they are eating. Well, I explained that a million times. Why do we have to give salt to herbivores? Because there is no minerals in greens. This is all baloney talk. Yeah, there could be some mineral, but not nearly enough. And the selection is very poor. It's a local, what is there in the soil, and our soils are depleted because we are not treating them properly. So if you don't get enough minerals, no matter how much water you drink, you will not hydrate because body doesn't hold water. It only can hold electroconductive version of water, which has to contain certain percentage of salt. We know that our blood has approximately 9 grams of salt per liter of blood. Well, this is how we are calibrated. This gives us the perfect electroconductivity. And when you drink water, body is going to eliminate it very quickly and lose even more minerals. So, especially those drinking distilled water, they say, well, drinking distilled water is like drinking urine. That's nonsense. Urine comes from your blood, from your plasma. So urine is plasma, same as milk is plasma, comes from the body. Distilled water has no minerals. And if you drink, let's say, 5 liters of distilled water a day, you do it a few days in a row, you are going to get yourself into death-threatening situation. Because you will drop the mineral content so much that you lose electroconductivity. Electricity is your energy. You stop a flow of energy, you are dead. So, and we know that. So here we have to be careful. Don't drink distilled water. We should drink plasma all the time, especially when we are in a process of detox. So if your body is toxic and you drink milk, well, you receive plasma. And as soon as the plasma level is starting increasing, the body starts pushing things out. If it's still very low on plasma, but the volume is slowly increasing, and they are very toxic with a lot of deposited toxins in a subcutaneous tissue, they start pushing them out. Your skin is going to break out. And all vegans are in that predicament. They have tissue full of toxins, cells full of toxins. Blood is relatively clean because these toxins are not very strong. And body is offloading them in a tissue if it cannot take them out, because blood is programmed to keep as clean as possible. So clean blood, you don't feel symptoms. So you feel, no, I'm okay, I'm healthy, you see, I don't have any flu. Well, you don't have flu because you're not cleansing. And eventually, the bag will be full and it will rupture. And this is when you have sharp decline of your health and inevitable death. So we just have to understand our symptoms correctly. All these people who are advertising probiotics or who are advertising supplements, certain plants like kimchi mushroom or seaweed or medicinal stuff like garlic. They all claim, wow, this boosts your energy. And yes, you eat that crap and you feel boost of energy. But I explained this on an example of an experiment with spirulina that my friends from France did. Okay? You immediately feel boost of energy. But your chronic health issue return because you prevent your body from cleansing. So no energy is used in that way. A lot of energy is left because hydration and cleansing is very energy demanding. If you stop the process, now you have plenty of energy available. It's not that this stuff is making energy. It cannot make energy because there is nothing energetic in it. It is just preventing the body from using the energy it has for cleansing and hydrating purposes. Well, you will feel energetic until you start feeling sick because you will become toxic again. As simple as that. It's a very clear, logical explanation to it. Claiming that the veggie supplements produce energy in your body. Which way? Explain. Cannot be done in any other way but stopping certain processes in the body that use energy. And now you have energy without ways of how to use it and you feel energetic. So, logic. We have to start using logic. If you drink milk and it gives you diarrhea, could be two things. Either the milk contains very big percentage of fat and you are not used to dealing with so much fat, so you don't have enough bile to break it down, and body is going to want to eliminate it and gives you diarrhea. Or you are vegan or vegetarian and your genetic metabolism has shifted. And you have also, among the other stuff, you start producing lactase enzyme, which all mammals produce, that when in contact with lactose from milk, turns lactose into fiber. This is for purpose, so the youngsters do not have diarrhea constantly because all they drink, all they eat is milk, liquid, but their stool is pasty. So where is this fiber that creates the pasty stuff? Well, this is your lactose turned into fiber under influence of the enzyme lactase, which we should all be producing all our lives. But we don't when we eat incorrectly. So if you do not produce it and you drink milk, you cannot convert the sugar into fiber. So what happens? it ferments. This closes down the cells of your colon for absorption. And with the diarrhea, you eliminate the stuff. So you start having diarrhea. So far, every vegetarian and vegan that went on a protocol and was lactose intolerant, within 10 days started produce lactase, and the intolerance for dairy was gone, is eliminated. It's a quick readjustment. But you have to change your diet, and you have to hydrate. Because as soon as you correct your diet and you hydrate, well, the body has the programs how to run correctly, and it is going to start immediately shifting in that direction. It's way faster to reprogram body into correct diet than it is to program it into wrong diet. This is why weaning child off the milk and having him accept the nonsensical sugar diet that we are all claiming is our perfect diet takes a long time, little by little. And then to turn it back into ketogenic state, once when you stop giving the wrong food and you give the correct food, within 3 days, boom, body goes the other way. So it's quick. And we can go from glucoholic into ketogenic state within 3 days. But within 3 days, we activate enough mitochondria and we start producing enough energy from fat. So we lose the hunger and desperation of low energy when we stop eating carbohydrates. But at the same time, the shift, genetic shift, to start producing other stuff takes longer. For example, it takes more than a month for the body to start producing adequate amount of GCMF. Usually it's like 3 weeks, it's the part, but until you start feeling it, because now you have to accumulate, you have to increase the proper level, well, it takes more than a month and a half. So these things we have to have in consideration. If you feel symptoms of toxic blood and detox when you are having dairy, this is because you are highly toxic and your body is given opportunity now to detoxify because you are raising mineral level and plasma in general, and your body first is going to start eliminating the toxins from the blood and then from the tissue. As you are raising the level of blood plasma, you are increasing blood level, your lymph goes into more deeper areas cleansing, and the garbage starts coming into the blood, making your blood toxic. You get symptoms of toxic blood. You feel like you are losing concentration, blurry vision, foggy brain, even headaches, and all those are all symptoms of toxic blood, problem sleeping. Now, if you do not increase rapidly the level of plasma, then these symptoms will linger you are going to feel bad for a while. When you provide milk, you are not providing only plasma, you are providing many stuff that you have to eliminate. Part of food. Baby defecates, urinates, right? Everything what it defecates, urinates is what it has received through milk. So this is a perfect food because it hydrates you, nourishes you, and provides elimination. So if your body is completely clean, like baby should be, and you are on milk, perfect, you can be there forever. But if you are coming with a toxic body and now switching to milk, that's a different problem now, because you will need more plasma to clean the old stuff. The milk will do it in time, but you will have the symptoms of very toxic blood for a while because cleansing process will be slow. You speed it up by giving body more water and more minerals. So you create surplus so the body can hydrate and eliminate at the same time. Many people ask me, well, Darko, instead of drinking plasma, can I cleanse drinking milk? You can, but you are going to have way worse symptoms and for much longer time than if you do it with water plasma. Vegans don't drink even milk, but vegetarians that do not want to eat meat and ask, well, can dairy be used? Yes, dairy can be used, but you have to have a lot of plasma, drink a lot of water with sea salt, or best is diluted seawater, to help the body to cleanse the blood as quick as possible. Your detox is going to be slower from the tissue because, again, you are polluting your body with wrong diet, plant food. And you are not really changing your genetic programming. You are staying in glucoholic state, which most of the hydration, especially hydration on a cellular level, happens only when we are asleep because it needs huge amount of energy to shift the vibration of sodium into potassium. And this happens when we are sleeping. But when we are sleeping, we are not eating. And as long as you are in glucoholic state, you don't have enough activated mitochondria. So you cannot produce adequate amount of energy from fat because you are still in glucoholic state, dependent on glucose. So the cellular type of cleansing and healing is not going to happen unless you get rid of plants. During the daytime, you may achieve certain, there is as I explained, there are two different ways cell hydrates. One is passive and one is active. Passive is through membrane, just with flow of lymph or blood. The plasma from the blood or from lymph can go into the cell and out of the cell because they go through the membrane. Well, more toxins you have in the blood or in tissue, the cells will defend themselves by tightening down a little bit. They don't want this toxin. And this makes it more difficult for water, for plasma, to go in or out of the cell. As long as you are eating plant food, you are bringing toxins, which will stay in the way of this process. And of course, there is not going to be activation of osmotic pump because for that you need extra energy, which happens during the night when you don't think, and during the night you do not eat anything, and you cannot make enough energy from fat when you are in in glucoholic state. You need to be in ketogenic state. So you will have, if you are vegetarian and you want to use dairy as your source of animal fats and minerals and proteins, well, this will take you until a certain level, and then it cannot go further because of what I just explained. So you will definitely feel better, but you cannot have complete healing if the problem was achieved. Let's say you will not heal from diabetes. You have to have completely abstinence of glucose. So, no plant food. And there are some other problems related to GCMF, because you will not produce GCMF either. So your body is not going to be well protected, because we know the GCMF protein is the marker that points to your white blood cells, macrophage, what is garbage, what has to be taken out. And if you don't produce GCMF, your white blood cells do a lousy job. They simply don't know what to take out. So it's a little bit more complex to explain these things, but if you simply cannot think of killing animals being dead, and you will not eat any meat for this purpose, for this reason, but you would go and accept dairy, milk, cheese, well, you can use them. It will greatly improve your health, but not completely. And if you have certain chronic issues that are on cellular level, affecting your organs, you will not be able to clear them out because of this problem I just explained. You have to stop poisoning yourself with plants and go into ketogenic state. I hope that this answered your questions. There is nothing toxic in the milk that is going to create necessity of mucus, but same as a newborn baby born of toxic mother, when starts suckling milk, mother's milk, it may go into detox and may develop diarrhea and even vomiting, and then people say, oh, see, it's intolerant to milk. No, it's not intolerant to milk, but milk is way less toxic than blood of toxic mother. So by not being in mother's environment, but now having its own, and being supplied by milk which is less toxic than the environment where the baby was before, well, the baby starts detoxifying. Yeah, but doctors don't know diddly squat about this, so they go immediately, vomiting, we gotta do this. Diarrhea, we gotta do this. A fever, we gotta do this. And all they do, they just block the body from its natural detox and healing process. And we call it curing. That's how stupid we have become. Well, we are misled. Sorry, doctors. Oh, I'm one of you. But I woke up. I woke up a long time ago. But I was not aware of the depth in which we have been pushed with miseducation until I started researching. some 25 years ago. Most of what I'm talking about is new knowledge that I have stumbled upon when I was guided. There's no way I could come there without being guided. So I'm just messenger. And to me, it is also so incredibly unbelievable when I started with this that I had to experiment. I had to drink seawater. I had to eat only fruits. I had to eat only meat and drink plasma to see if where I'm guided to is true or not. And everything I talk about, everything I write about is coming from my personal experience, and now lately also from experience of my friends who wanted to experiment, and through their experiences we all gather more knowledge. So if you are vegetarian and you have health issues, even pimples and stuff, and you don't want to eat meat, well, you can drink plasma and you can start subsidizing some animal proteins and fats and more plasma by drinking milk and eating dairy, yogurt, and cheese. But do not confuse symptoms of cleansing with toxic reaction of the body to milk or dairy. It's none of it. Your body is simply eliminating toxins it has because you are providing now more plasma, more minerals, more water, so it can do this. All right, thank you for listening. Any other subjects you want me to discuss, let me know. And love to us all. God bless us, and let's go forward. Namaste.